So speaking of which, of at least, so Bernie Sanders has spoken consistently on Brazil, the connecting rise of fascism and how it fits with the global threat from the United States to India to Hungary to Russia in terms of global far right governments synchronizing Saudi Arabia, Israel. And he's spoken on Lula. He's also been a major driving force behind an efforts to stop the administration from backing Saudi UAE mass murder in Yemen. The Yemeni conflict's gone on since, I believe, 2015. The Saudis have unleashed just a brutal wave of killings, cholera epidemics, food shortages, bombing hospitals, bombing funeral homes, bombing school buses, all because of their own phantom fears and delusions about a Houthi government merely being a pawn for the Iranians. In fact, the Houthis are an organic movement to Yemen and play into Yemen's own very difficult and delicate political balances arising out of their disruptions and movements in the context of the Arab uprisings going back to 2011. The Sanders bill, which he co-sponsored along with Chris Murphy, Democrat from Connecticut, Mike Lee, Republican from Utah, actually advanced in the Senate. A lot of media coverage focused on this being somehow to do with Khashoggi or sending MBS a message, and that's fine enough. The primary concern, of course, should be ending, as I say, U.S.-enabled and backed mass murder in Yemen. This is Bernie Sanders talking about the vote earlier today.
Let me thank all of the people at the grassroots level throughout our country who helped us today win a major vote on the path toward ending U.S. involvement in the war in Yemen. But let me caution everybody, given the extremely obscure and complicated rules of the United States Senate, this fight is far from over. What we won this afternoon was a vote to discharge our resolution out of the Foreign Relations Committee. And that was a major, major victory. But what we have got to do is continue our effort to make sure that we end up winning the resolution to proceed, to go forward. And then finally, we have got to win final passage on this legislation. And what we did today was of enormous significance. This is a really important step forward. And what this fight, as you all know, is about is three fundamental things. Number one, what's going on in Yemen now is a horrific humanitarian disaster. We're talking about the reality of 85,000 children in the last few years starving to death. And what the United Nations tells us is that millions more people are facing imminent starvation. In Yemen today, which has always been a poor country, but in Yemen today, what we're looking at is 10,000 new cases every single week of cholera, which then lays people open to all kinds of other illnesses and death. So what we are saying is that the United States of America, in our resolution, has got to get out of that war. And instead of being part of the killing in Yemen, we have got to do everything we can to bring peace to that country and humanitarian aid so that we stop this horrific humanitarian disaster.
All the things that Sam outlined so well in terms of caucus assignment with progressives a couple days ago, do the same. Call your senator. Make sure that they're supporting this bill. Thank them if they have. If there's someone like Ben Sass, as an example, who is a grotesque windbag who voted against this but likes to posture as an upholder of morality, even as he aids in the mass murder of Yemeni children. Maybe if you're in Nebraska, you give his office a call and you say that maybe he should have a conscience and not side with Trump, who he supposedly finds so odious, and maybe with someone like Bernie Sanders, who actually is supporting humanity and ethics in U.S. foreign policy. We need to stay on this. It needs to be very aggressive, and there is a possibility in terms of public sentiment. The forces of both Emirates and Saudi lobbying efforts, as well as, of course, all of the arms manufacturers like General Dynamics and Raytheon who are making a killing on this are what we're up against. And here's a list of the 37.
Hyde Smith.
Oh, okay. What a surprise. This is a list of the 37. Alex Koch tweeted this out on Twitter. Roll call is in for the Yemeni resolution. These are the 37 nay votes. So we have Barroso of Wyoming, Blunt of Missouri, Boozman of Arkansas, Burr of North Carolina, Capito of West Virginia, Cornyn of Texas, Cotton of Arkansas, Crapo. Okay, these are all Republicans. Let me and maybe we should post this, but were there any Democrats that voted against this? It looks like there are no Democratic no's on this, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe they can be shamed into doing the right thing.
If your senator's on here, go ask him or her why they're part of the Senate Yemeni genocide.
Yeah,
caucus.
why are they part of the Senate Yemeni genocide caucus, and why are a couple of Raytheon assembly lines, which could be, again, it's not about losing jobs. All of those jobs could be turned into productive activities, but people are literally voting. This is as basic a vote gets for a campaign contributor that directly leads to literal mass murder.
Yeah, this is them supporting, like, they would have supported in the South African apartheid state.
Oh, absolutely.
This is like that vote. This
100%.
are these votes, right?
Yes. These people
Some of them probably did.
Some of them probably did. These people are disgusting. You should all let them know, call them. And particularly, I like the posturers are here. Rubio, Sass, truly grotesque 37, the Yemeni Genocide Caucus. Give them all a call. And also the rest who actually voted on this, Republican and Democrat, please thank them, including Mike Lee is totally atrocious. He needs to get a ton of props on this. Rand Paul is atrocious. Needs to get props on this. This is the smart version of where we're not dumb partisans when it comes to passing essential legislation like this. And I got to say, look, Bernie is the indisputable choice for 2020 if he runs. I don't see a real argument otherwise if you care about a left perspective. But Chris Murphy really ought to be shooting his way. I don't see he should be talked about on those lists for this type of work alone.
He'd be a good VP, I feel like.
Yeah, I think he would be.